You'd think you could just find High School Musical 2 costumes at Old Navy, but no.
It's a period piece.
Buckle up, Wildcats. Season 2 of High School Musical, the musical, the series is here, and it's time to break down that season premiere. What's up, Wildcats? Lisa here with a brand new season of High School Musical, the series. Yes, I have decided I'm going to be recapping this second season. I know I didn't do the first season, but I love the show. I'm a big fan, and so I'm going to do the second season. And I'm going to try to go back and do a full season 1 recap in case anybody needs a refresher. So when that goes live, that'll be down in the description below. But before moving on to what is going down in Season 2 premiere, I have interviews with some of the cast, and yes, they are amazing. I loved interviewing them for Season 1, and loved them even more interviewing them for Season 2. So if you want to check out some of those segments, I have more that will be going up, so be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, you can click up here, wherever that little annotation comes, or in the description below for the first part of those. Now, as far as my review for Season 2 so far, I have seen 3 episodes of this season, and let me just say that this show is just so much fun, and the original music is just taking it to a whole new level. Like, first season had a few songs, but this season, there's even more, and they're really stepping it up a notch. I mean, plus there's obviously the mix of songs from High School Musical 2, plus Beauty and the Beast, and I'm imagining maybe The Little Mermaid, so it's just a blessing when it comes to some amazing music. Plus, there are some new characters that definitely bring some drama this season. And there's definitely some interesting stuff when it comes to all the romantic relationships. So keep an eye out if you're, Team Rini, Team Rena, or you love Big Red and Ashland or Seblos. Lots of relationship stuff going on this season. But now, let's recap this first episode of Season 2 called New Year's Eve. So the episode opens with that awesome performance of Something in the Air that we actually saw last year during the holiday special. Now this is filmed as it's supposed to be like a one take, and that is pretty dang impressive because it definitely looks like that. Who knows, there might have been a few camera tricks in there, but either way, this cast really killed it. I don't think I would have had the endurance to get past like 30 seconds of this number. What I love about this number is that everybody gets their chance to shine in this number, and they're really putting some of the other characters in the show at the forefront. We don't see Ricky and Nini until later. We actually get to see, Big Red and Ashlyn and EJ and, Seblos and Gina and all that before we get Ricky and Nini, which actually is pretty telling of this season because we are getting a lot of other characters' stories really fleshed out and they're getting more dimensions. Now, I mean, we are getting a ton of Ricky and Nini as well, but it's nice to see that they are giving a lot of focus to these other characters as well. But back to what's going on. We find out that Miss Jen may have the spiciest love life of everyone on this show. So, while she is actually busy overseeing the rebuild of the theater and preparing to announce High School Musical 2 as the spring musical, obviously, I'm kind of sad that she didn't say it that way. Now, Miss Jen, she's obviously had some flirtations in season 1 with Ricky's dad and, of course, her nemesis, Mr. Mazzara, but now there is a new man entering the picture. So when Miss Jen and Carlos go to the store to find costumes for High School Musical 2, they run into Miss Jen's old high school boyfriend, Zach, who was actually a jock that she got to do the musical with her, much like the story of, Ricky and Nini and Troy and Gabriella. But then he's the one who actually went on to get a scholarship to NYU and go to Broadway, and of course, once he got to New York, he ditched her. And well, we all know Miss Jen, she's not bitter, right?
Oh my gosh, Zachy! How long has it been? 17 years, 6 months, and 3 cats ago, but who's counting?
So Miss Jen and Carlos try to sneak out of the store before Zach sees them, but of course that never works, and Zach starts talking to them and reveals that he's been paid a ton of money by North High to come direct their version of The Little Mermaid in hopes of winning the prestigious Menke Award. In other words, the Alan Menken Award for Excellence in High School Theater. He then kind of calls East High's version of High School Musical adorable, and of course that just pushes Miss Jen's buttons. We also learn that Miss Jen went to North High, the rival school we're going to meet in this season, which kind of reminds me of the Mighty Ducks when the Ducks found out that Gordon Bombay used to be a Hawk. It's like, are you actually playing for the other team? But I don't think Miss Jen would be like that. Plus, if you haven't watched Mighty Ducks Game Changers on Disney+, I highly recommend it. This is not a paid ad. I just really like that show too. But moving on, Miss Jen is back at the school and she's looking at all the costumes and we see her pull out Nini's old fork costume. Yes, remember when Nini mentioned she was a fork in a previous production of Beauty and the Beast? Well, that has now come back, as it looks like the new show is going to be Beauty and the Beast, not High School Musical 2, and she has yet to announce it. So meanwhile, all the other cast members are running around thinking that High School Musical 2 has to be it, and they're pumped. As for Ricky and Nini, well, Ricky's pretty much on cloud 9 after the events of season 1, and he never wants to break up with Nini again, and he is so excited to be in the spring musical. But Nini, she's dreading having to tell him that she's moving to Denver to go to that youth actors conservatory. She wants to tell him after exchanging Christmas presents, but then Ricky kind of sings her a cute song, and then he's bummed out because he just found out that his dad is selling the house and they're moving to a small apartment, so it's really not a good time to drop even more bad news on Ricky. And like I said, Ricky's very pumped now to reprise his role as Troy Bolton in High School Musical 2 that we see him perform, of course, Bet on It, one of the most iconic songs from that movie.
All I got, that is my plan. Will I find what I lost? You know you can't bet on it, bet on it, bet on it, bet on it.
He also sings it all the way on the ride to Ashland's New Year's Eve party with Nini, once again not giving her a chance to let him know that she's moving. At this New Year's Eve party, Courtney decides that they're going to play a game, so she has everyone write down their resolution for the new year, and then they're going to guess who it belongs to. Now, when she reads Nini's, things get a tad bit awkward.
I resolve to follow my dreams however far away they take me.
Well, that's gotta be Gina, right?
Nope.
It's me, actually. Back to the game, Court.
But of course, Nini brushes it off, and they move on to sing a lovely High School Musical 2 song medley, because of course if they're not going to do High School Musical 2 as the actual musical, we got to fit these songs in somehow, and this was a really cool way to do it.
I want fabulous, that is my simple request. All things fabulous, song, I know that we belong. Oh, you are the music in me. Let's rock and roll and just let go. Feel the rhythm of the drums.
Then, as the clock strikes midnight, Miss Jen busts in to announce the musical, and they all think she's gonna say High School Musical 2, but she rushes in and says they're doing Beauty and the Beast so that they can compete for the Mankeys, which includes a $50,000 prize for the school, and also one of the students will get a scholarship to NYU. Now, everybody actually takes this news surprisingly well, and they're excited to take on Beauty and the Beast, and they're all telling Nini she was born to play Belle. And that's when Nini has just had enough. She's been holding it in for too long, and she erupts.
I'm in if you're in.
Ricky, I'm moving to Denver.
And well, the episode ends on that little bit of a cliffhanger. Now we have to wait until episode 2 to see just how Ricky takes this news. Oh, and for you people out there who are more rooting for Ricky to have something with Gina, don't worry, there were some glances that were being made throughout this whole episode. It makes me wonder if feelings are there, whether they're one-sided or two-sided, no idea.
Well, that's gotta be Gina, right?
Nope. Not me.
Speaking of Gina, she's settling in and living with Ashlyn, and it all seems to be going well. EJ, he's dealing with being a second semester senior, and he's kind of already acting like in that short span of time, he's grown to be light years older than all the rest of these kids. And he's waiting to hear back if he got into Duke, even though he's kind of like really sure of himself, thinking that he's gonna get in. So I have a feeling there's gonna be some maybe letdown later in the season when it comes to that, but who knows? I do gotta say though, I'm liking that baby beard he's trying to grow. As for our two other fan favorite couples, first let's talk about Seblos, Seb and Carlos. They are going strong and even trying a Christmas carol around the neighborhood together, which is really cute, except there's definitely some typical growing pains of getting used to each other and getting to know each other's quirks as a new couple. It turns out Carlos actually comes from money and likes the finer things in life, and he ends up getting Seb a cashmere sweater for Christmas, while Seb just drew a really sweet picture of them from the dance. So yeah, Seb doesn't really know how to talk to Carlos about how this is affecting their relationship, because you know Seb's actually allergic to cashmere, but he's pushing on through because you know he doesn't want to upset Carlos or doesn't want anything to happen to the relationship, so he's just trying to go with the flow here. As for the adorable Big Red and Ashland, Big Red is ready to make his move and kiss Ashlyn at midnight because he's not quite sure if that kiss after the musical was real or a fluke. Unfortunately, his plans get interrupted when his mom needs him to work at the family's pizza place. Now, this pizza place will be taking on a bigger role in this season, and it's nice to have kind of a new set piece for them to go to. But Big Red ends up having to work, and he asks Ashlyn to order pizza so he can actually have an excuse to come to this party. Meanwhile, she's also kind of confused on the status of their relationship, and it's just like typical awkward teen love. Now, both have been freaking out throughout the day, hoping that this kiss will happen. And when it comes to midnight, we see them both pop breath mints, and they end up having a sweet kiss and breathe a sigh of relief. So they're the couple that has the happy moment at the end of this episode. One of my other favorite characters, Courtney, what's she up to now? Well, she's ready to make her mark this year. She's ready to move from behind the scenes to in front of everybody. And she's going to actually audition for the musical, and she has a whole vision board ready and prepared. Seems like she's ready just to take on the world, and she might even get a job. And, well, for the most part, that's pretty much the main events of the season 2 premiere of High School Musical, the series. I wish the title wasn't that long. But, yeah, while it would have been fun to see the cast actually do High School Musical 2 as their spring musical, I'm really excited to actually see them do Beauty and the Beast, because that is one of my favorite Disney movie soundtracks. I don't know if it's one of my favorite Disney movies, but the soundtrack and the music, Alan Menken, he is a genius. So I think it's gonna be fun to see how it all works out, especially when we now have Nini going away to Denver. Who's gonna play what role? I actually know because I've seen the next episode, but you're gonna have to wait, and I wanna know your guesses down below who you think is getting what role in Beauty and the Beast. But what I do like about them also doing Beauty and the Beast is that it proves that this show could move on past being attached to the High School Musical franchise and all of these songs. Now, having them sprinkled throughout that first episode was great. I'm not sure if any will show up later in the season, but it helped to hit the right notes with nostalgia and all of that. And, you know, we got to see some Ed Hardy, someone wearing Ed Hardy and all of that. It makes me feel a little old, but it kind of just, it nicely captured that moment of time. And now I feel like it's all been established and we can actually move on. And this show could maybe go on for a few years because some of these kids are sophomores, some are juniors. So there's a whole nother year or two of high school. And it doesn't have to necessarily be all about the High School Musical songs, the original franchise. It can now really fully be its own thing. But yeah, I'm very excited for the rest of the season, and you know it's gonna be fun when the episode or the trailer ends with one of Natalie's little quips.
Buckle up, Wildcats. This party's just getting started.
So now that we've talked about all the things that happened in episode 1, let's look at the trailer for episode 2.
Attention, thespians! We could audition as a girl group.
Everyone's like, it's gonna be so weird to audition for the show without Nini.
Oh, I can't believe I'm missing it.
Just wanted to do a little check-in.
Guess I feel a little bit like a square peg in a star-shaped hole.
Madame Gaston, can't you just see it?
May the best belle win.
And next up we have... Okay, where's Ricky?
Okay, so we have Ashlyn wanting to audition for the musical as a girl group, but Gina isn't totally sold on this idea. Meanwhile, Ricky and Nini are definitely trying to make long distance work out, but it doesn't seem like it's going so smoothly. Plus, we have a new arrival coming into town. And it also seems like Ricky doesn't show up for his audition for the musical, so is he overdoing musicals now that he can't do them with Nini? Guess we're gonna have to wait until episode 2 to find out. So now I wanna know all your thoughts about this season 2 premiere episode. Are you still loving the show? What do you think about the old High School Musical 2 songs that they performed? And what songs do you wanna see them perform for Beauty and the Beast? Who do you think will get what role? Now let me know all your thoughts, theories, whatever you feel like putting down in the comments. And like I said, don't forget to check out all my High School Musical series cast interviews. You can check them out, descriptions below. Also subscribe so you don't miss any of my awkward recaps because I like being awkward. I actually don't know if this was awkward, but now I'm making it awkward. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me, Wildcats. I'm Lisa, and I'll see you next time.